I'm on prep, and I'm reading through Numbers 21 and 22. And the first thing I noticed in Numbers is that the Israelites are traveling this journey. It takes 40 years. But every time there is a shortcut for them to take to go through a city to get to their destination, the people or the king that's there always tells them no. And they're like, we'll come in, we won't touch anything. We're just going to travel down the King's Highway to get to where we need to go. And the person is always like, no. And if you attempt it, we're going to kill you and we're going to come against you. And God delivered some of those individuals into the hands of the Israelites, but there is always a blockage when they are trying to take a shortcut to get there. And so it's a reminder that, in my journey right now, my pilgrimage, if you know me for a while, the most significant thing has been 5 years in the making. And every time I try to get to a certain point of progression, not necessarily a shortcut, because there is no shortcut in this journey, there's always somebody or something that says, no, we're not going to do that. And it's a reminder that even despite that, God still will open that avenue, deliver those enemies into your hands, because the Israelites did reach where they were supposed to, but it was not in the time that it would have if they had just trusted God. One of the next things I picked up on, especially in chapter 21, verses 4 through 7, was how the Israelites, they came from a state of slavery in Egypt. They were being tormented and oppressed, and God allowed them to be released from that. But when they were on that journey that was taking 40 years, they began to forget where they came from. And so they started complaining about things that they might have been praying for while they were in Egypt. And when they complained in chapter 21, God sent venomous snakes. And so they started freaking out and praying to God, like, help, please stop these snakes and blah, 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 blah. We've done wrong. And it was like a quick reminder from God, like, you don't realize, or you're not remembering where I just took you from. And now you're complaining about petty things that you were just begging and pleading me for. Like, get your mind right. Get your life right now. Because if I really wanted to, this is what I could do. I mean, there were some Israelites that died from the snakes, all because of their complaining, because they had forgotten where they had come from. And so that again is a reminder, like, sometimes as Christians, and I know on my own journey, we pray, we get released, we get a blessing, and then we get comfortable with that new level, that next level. And because we are comfortable, we complain about the small things that we used to pray for God to bless us with. And I have to remember that the things I have now, even the job I have now, the opportunities I have now, the connections I have now, the friends I have now, are things that I used to pray for. So how do I have the audacity to complain about anything when this is the same prayer that God has answered? Like, maybe we forget sometimes that it's an answered prayer and we take it as a curse. But the last thing was in chapter 22, pretty much the whole chapter, verses 1 through 20. I need a Balaam in my life. Like, Balak, who was a king within the Moabites, or a king of Moab, he heard that the Israelites were coming his way. And again, every time the Israelites came somewhere, they had a reputation that preceded them, that they were strong and they were covered by the hand of God. And so he decided that, there's no way for me to defeat this dude or these people. So I need somebody to put a curse on them. And everybody around him agreed with that mindset. And so he went to Balaam and told him, put a curse on these people. Because, you know, that's the only way I'm going to be able to defeat them if they have this curse on them. Because otherwise they're going to demolish me. And Balaam is like, no, you guys stay here. I'm going to pray to God and see what God says. God tells him no. So he listens to God. He goes back and tells him, no, I can't do this. I can't go with you all. I'm not going against God. So then Balak tries to woo him, saying, you know, if you do this, I'll bless you immensely. Balaam is like, no, even if you give me all the silver, all the gold, and everything in your palace, I can't go beyond what God has asked me to do or not to do. So then he goes back to God and prays again. And the Lord releases him to go with him, but he says, do only what I tell you. That's the kind of person I need in my life. I need somebody who, because we all know, no matter how good you do in life, there's always somebody that's going to speak negative, to build a negative reputation. But you need an individual in your life that even what everybody else is saying and falsely accusing you of, they go to God to see who you really are. And they stand firm in God to protect you rather than to go along with what everybody else is saying. And I pray that whoever God needs me to be that for, I will be that, because I know it's very difficult, because of the fact that you're standing against everybody else. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. It was very interesting. Numbers 21 verses 4 through 7, and then Numbers 22 verses 1 through 20. See you next time.